Round one of the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs are now over. But we got to see 4 Game 7s. And there is a mentality that takes place during a Game 7 that I believe can impact our own lives if we operate with a Game 7 mentality when it comes to procrastination, delaying, and embracing the moment. Let's unpack it. Welcome to the Unpacking It podcast, where we unpack parallels, metaphors, and topics in sports that relate to life and faith. I'm Bryce Johnson, coming to you from the Unpacking It studio in downtown Mount Holly, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm joined in studio today by my producer, Aaron Bennett. Flying solo with the topic today, but this is somewhat of a special podcast because I've got a fun topic about Game 7s, and I think it'll be encouraging for all of us today. But I also wanted to give a little bit of a state of the podcast, state of the ministry, to inform you as a listener on what's going on, what's coming up. This time of year, it was funny, I bumped into a college kid yesterday, and college is already over for the semester, for the year. So this is sort of that time of the year for us here at Unpacking It too, where our fiscal year ends in May. And so we start really planning and preparing for a new fiscal year, which this summer includes gearing up for Fantasy Football Fellowship, gearing up for our golf tournament. So a lot going on here at the ministry. So stick around toward the end of the show. I'm going to kind of fill you in on a few different things happening. But off the top, a few more weeks with Aaron as our producer. He's going to be taking a full-time job with the church that he's at. And so excited for Aaron and the way that God's working in his life. And so he's been a great producer for us for over a year. So thankful to have had him as long as we have. And so that means we are looking for a new producer as well. So you can pray about that, or if you have any suggestions or ideas on that, you can reach out to me. So a lot of changes going on here at the ministry. God's moving, and we're excited about what's in store, but also always filled with so much gratitude as well. So thanks to you for being a loyal listener, and we got a fun show because this time of year, NHL, NBA playoffs, they're happening game after game, night after night. It happens quick. And so it's actually a little tricky to do our weekly podcast with the rhythm of both playoffs, because I can't believe I'm all ready to talk about Game 7s today. And then last night, we already got the Denver Nuggets with a huge Game 1 win. So it's wild, but it's been exciting on both fronts. And yes, I am going to talk a little hockey today. I'm a big NBA guy, so I side with the NBA, but I do want to get into some hockey talk. Encourage you to check out our website, unpackingit.com. You can always email me, bryce@unpackingit.com. Please rate, review anywhere you're listening to podcasts. Leave your comments, like, share, wherever you're watching this. If you are on social media as well as on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and be sure to share this with your friends and family and your platforms and networks as well. So really appreciate that. Also have an exciting announcement to share in a little bit as well, that we've got something coming out from Unpacking It. So be on the lookout for that. I do want to thank our sponsor, Upward Sports, as we continue to partner with them. You can check out upward.org/unpack and start a sports ministry at your church. And they are, always offering a wide range of different sports. So flag football, volleyball, baseball, basketball, cheerleading. But now they have pickleball. That's right. They are all excited about making pickleball available as an Upward sport. We're excited too. And so, this is perfect for middle and high schoolers. Pickleball is easy to learn, quick to set up, and one of the best ways to keep kids engaged. And I actually, on a side note, I think I saw, was it Andre Agassi? I saw it was a former tennis player who just won a big pickleball tournament. So the tennis to pickleball transition is fascinating. But Upward has made the transition to offering pickleball as a ministry and sport that they offer. And so whether you're looking to start a traditional league or a flexible practice and play format, Upward Sports is here to help you build a strategy that fits your church. And so if you're ready to get started, be sure to go to upward.org/unpack. All right, so before we get into talking Game 7s, I also had to share this because a lot of loyal App State alums are a part of this show, listen to the show. And so I am an App State alum and always keep up with the Mountaineers, especially the football team, of course. And last night, I went to the spring tour where the athletic director and different coaches, they go to different cities, within the App State area where a bunch of alumni are. So they were in Charlotte last night, and I got to meet new head coach Dowell Loggins and got to spend some time talking with him, which was cool. And always great to see different supporters from App State, and so got to be a part of a special evening. But it's May. Football season's coming quick. It's going to be great. And actually here in Charlotte, the Mountaineers are taking on Charlotte, the 49ers, at Bank of America Stadium to kick off the football season. So that's going to be a ton of fun. I will be at that game with my wife, Jody. So that is going to be fun. So it's always tough because I've been ever since I was at App in 2005, have been a supporter of the football team. And now we've seen a couple coaches. It all began with Jerry Moore, former guest on the show. So we love Jerry. But to now have a new coach, it's this new era, and it's weird for me because I like the old regime. I like when Mountaineers that played or were former coaches, stay in the family. We're stepping out of the family with Dowell Loggins, but he has brought a kind of an NFL mentality and put together an unbelievable staff. The fact that Clyde Christensen is now on the staff is sort of a senior advisor. So he won multiple Super Bowls. He coached Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, a number of guys, Andrew Luck, with the Colts and the Bucks and different teams. So anyway, the staff is put together very nicely. And so I'm excited. So I'm coming off of that last night. It was a good time. So I had to share that with some of the App State listeners gearing up for the football season. But in the meantime, it is basketball playoffs. It is hockey playoffs. And here's the deal with my NHL lack of fandom. I love the sport of hockey. I think it's a tremendous sport. And growing up, I would play hockey games on Sega. I would play hockey in the street. I've kept up with hockey to a certain degree. Those are the Wayne Gretzky days, big time star. I love the Mighty Ducks movies. I don't think we've done that for our movie podcast, but maybe we're due for that. We might have to do that this summer. D2. And so anyway, so I like hockey. I just don't follow it. I don't. The Carolina Hurricanes are in Raleigh, and so they're just not here in Charlotte. So I just didn't grow up going to games, and so I don't follow the league. However, Saturday night, was it Saturday night? Sunday night. It was Sunday night. And I'm watching, Game 7 with the Warriors and the Rockets on my big TV. And then on my small TV, I threw on the Winnipeg Jets against the St. Louis Blues. And I just happened to catch the game live at the end. Because for the most part, I watch sports recorded these days, except for the NFL on Sundays. So I'm watching the NBA game recorded, a little bit delayed. I was like, let me just throw something else on the other TV. So I throw on the hockey, and there's only a little bit of time left. And I think it's 4-3 at this point when I turn it on. And the Jets in Winnipeg, the crowd is dead. They've given up. There's a minute left. Time's clicking away. They're down a goal. And then with 3 seconds left, I'm watching this live and I'm getting into it. They're moving the puck and they're setting themselves up well. And all of a sudden they get a shot on goal and it goes in with 3 seconds left. It was thrilling. I made a sound that I don't think I can replicate. I was giddy, like excited. It was like, woo! It was a funny sound. I was like, maybe because I spent the day with my daughters. We were at the park. I don't know. Maybe I was in silly girly mode, but it was like, ooh, wow, what a shot! And hockey's supposed to be this tough. These are the toughest guys. They're ice skating. They're taking the hits up against the boards, and that was my response to an unbelievable shot. But anyway, that was what came out. I was like, ooh, I wonder if Jody heard that upstairs. So it was thrilling. The NBA games, not so much. Both blowouts, Game 7 blowouts, with Denver winning Saturday night, the Warriors winning on Sunday night. But then in the NHL, I did not catch this game, but the Dallas Stars were able to win. Shout out to former co-host Luke Heaton, who's a Dallas Stars fan. But they were able to beat the Colorado Avalanche. And what was amazing about that game was the hat trick in the third period from Mikko. Mikko with the hat trick. So they end up winning 4-2. And so the Stars move on against the Avalanche. And so I'm not going to pretend to be a hockey expert today. I do follow the NBA pretty closely, as you probably know if you listen to this podcast regularly. But I was a little surprised actually that Denver won Game 1 and the Knicks won Game 1. Just following, the Knicks were in a tough series with the Pistons, and then of course the Nuggets with a Game 7. To go out and win Game 1 is hard. But a quick side note: the Celtics missed 45 3-pointers on Monday night, which is outrageous. A few weeks ago, I did a show, or maybe it was a couple months ago at this point, but about where the NBA needs to be more focused on where it can't just be threes. And the Celtics is the perfect example of that. If the three's not falling, get to the rim, shoot a mid-range shot. All you have to do is hit like 3 of those and you win. So enough of the threes. But the harsh reality is the Celtics will never miss 45 threes again. And so the Knicks are unlikely to win this series. That's just, the Celtics are too good. So that's gonna be a fun series though with those two cities. But going back to Game 7, we had 4 Game 7s over the weekend, and as sports fans, we love Game 7s. I love the NCAA tournament. It's one and done. It's survive and advance. All of that is great. But what makes these professional leagues, baseball has it too, where you get these long series where you get a feel for each other, and it's one game builds on the next. And then if it does lead to a Game 7 where teams understand that, hey, it's win or go home, and it creates that that sense of urgency, and they got to leave it all on the court, all on the ice, and you got to pull out all the stops, all the cliches, the win or go home, all these things happen in a Game 7, and the Game 7 mentality for players goes up a notch. We wish that athletes always had a Game 7 mentality and they always give their all. They don't, but they do in a Game 7 when they have the Game 7 mentality and they truly are leaving it all out there and realizing, hey, there may not be another game unless we take care of business today, tonight, right now, in this game. And so I appreciate that mentality. What's fascinating, though, is when you compare the Game 7 mentality to a Game 3 mentality, there is a sense of delay. There is, whether they admit it or not, you can see it in some of the actions, especially in the NBA. As soon as a team gets down, if they're down by 20 in a Game 3, especially if it's late in the fourth, they'll rest players, right? All right, we're calling it off, and we'll get them next time. Because there's another game. Early in a series, you always have in the back of your mind, we'll figure it out. We'll play better next game. We'll make some adjustments, and it'll happen next time. And so in some ways, the winning or the Game 7 mentality isn't there, and it's pushed down until they get to a Game 7. And then all of a sudden, it's like, all right, let's do whatever we can. Let's pull out all the stops. And so you saw it with the Warriors. They had a Game 7 mentality. You saw it with the Nuggets. And so you appreciate that as a fan. And as a fan, we are also guilty of having the game 3 mentality. Because if you're like me, you're not watching every minute of a series unless it's your favorite team. But if you're casually, following along in the playoffs, you're like, well, let me just check out a little bit of game 3, but I'll catch the next one. You'll turn it off in the third quarter. You're like, I'm going to bed. I'll catch the next one. It's still early in the series. And so in some ways, as fans, we delay or procrastinate until it's game 7. And then it's like, all right, I got to tune in. I got to watch this. I'm ready. I'm locked in. And we have the game 7 mentality as a fan because we know that it's win or go home. There's more on the line. And we know we can't watch the game next week or another time. This is it. This is the one. And so as we think about this and we think about, the excitement of game 7s and this, this concept of having a game 7 mentality, the way I want to parallel it to our own lives today. Yes, there's a conversation to be had about, giving maximum effort and leaving it all on the field and that or on the court or ice or whatever. And yes, that's part of it. But specifically today, I want to talk about the challenge that we have or the struggle that we have with procrastinating, delaying, putting things off. And we live with sort of this game 3 mentality too often. And I'm guilty of this. I can be a procrastinator. All right. My wife knows that, right? It's, hey, I'll get to that project around the house. I'll work on it this weekend. And we push things off. And some things, are they maybe inconsequential, but we still have this game 3 mentality. There's another day for that. There's another game for that. That's sort of how we approach certain things. But as followers of Jesus, the encouragement for us today is to operate with a game 7 mentality where we embrace today, right now, this moment, this opportunity to do what we know we need to do, to know what's right and to do what's right. Because and not saying, I'll get to that tomorrow. I'll follow Jesus tomorrow. Let me take care of this, and then I'll do it. And you read through the New Testament, and you realize Jesus. There was a sense of urgency there, where people dropped whatever they had. All right, I'm following Jesus. That was the call. And so too often we have delayed obedience, and also delayed satisfaction, where and specifically joy and peace. I want to talk about today too. Where we go, well, I'll have joy, I'll have peace once this happens, once I get to once I get to this level, once I take care of this problem, then I'll finally have peace. And I just believe that the invitation that Jesus gives us, the life that we have to live with him, to follow him, to embrace all that he offers, is a now. It's a right now. It's a game 7. There's no next game. It's not, well, I'll get to it, or once it's game 7, then I'll start taking things seriously. Then I'll play the tough defense. Then I'll leave it all out there. No. It's now. There's no delay. And so here are some verses I want to share today that can encourage us. Simple, short. Here's the words of Psalm 119:60. I will hurry without delay to obey your commands. And the word obey is interesting. I heard something recently. I listened to a lot of podcasts, so I can't remember exactly where I heard it. I want to say it was John Ortberg, but the concept of obedience, sometimes we get hesitant about obeying God, right? Because we attach negative connotations with it. But the example that I heard was basically it just means listen and follow the instructions, because we do this all the time. If our coach, right? If a coach tells us to do something, we do it. What are we doing? We're obeying our coach. If our doctor says, hey, you probably need to do this or that to be in good health, we listen to the doctor and we obey the doctor. And so, I don't know, it gave me a little shift to that word because sometimes I'm even hesitant to talk about obedience just because of that carries whatever connotation. But it doesn't have to be negative. It's like just in this verse, it says, I will hurry without delay to obey your commands. Why do we obey God? Because it's the best way. And right now, in this moment, we've got to, if we know what's right, it's the wise thing to do it, to do what he says, to follow his instructions, because he knows what's best for us. And so let's not delay our obedience. Let's act with confidence in him that his word is true and that the instructions that he's given us all throughout Scripture is for our best. It's for the best life found in him. So let's not delay. In Psalm 90:12, it says, so teach us to number our days that we may get a heart of wisdom. And so do we consider, how short life is? We do it every once in a while, but even on a daily basis to really view today's the day, right now. What does God want me to do? And asking him every day, what's most important? What's the priority? And because in a game 7, whatever the priority is winning. And they're going to do whatever it takes to win. If some of their players have to play more minutes, they're going to do it. If the best way to win is to ride the hot hand, which for the Warriors was Buddy Hield. It wasn't Steph Curry. It was Buddy Hield. The Rockets defense was unbelievable on Curry, and he still got around him and had a nice game. But it was Buddy Hield. He hit, 10 threes, I think it was. And so for us, do we realize the brevity of life? Because here's the same verse, Psalm 90:12 in the New Living Translation. It says, teach us to realize the brevity of life so that we may grow in wisdom. The brevity of life. This is it. This is our only life. Today is the only day we're going to live today. And this is the only game 7, right? This is the only time these two teams are matched up. And so do we have that game 7 mentality in the way we view our life day to day in with this mindset of, we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised another round of playoffs, so to speak. All these things that we're delaying for down the line. Like, I'm going to follow Jesus when I get older. I'll take things seriously later on. No, today's the day. And so I alluded to this earlier, but another way that the game 3 and game 7 mentality plays out is in terms of living with peace and joy. And I think too often, not only are we delaying obedience, but we delay joy. We delay peace when it's available to us today. We don't have to wait until the next game when our circumstances are better, when we get that thing that we want, when we get the promotion, when we get the house, when we get the wife, when we get the kid, whatever it is. Peace and joy is available to us now. And so it happens when we live the surrendered life, the Spirit-filled life following Christ. So we walk by the Spirit, yielding to the Spirit within us, surrendered. God, your way, not my way. What direction are you leading me according to your word, according to the Spirit that's leading me forward, helping me make wise decisions, to live in a way that maximizes the day, that maximizes the opportunities, that has that game 7 mentality. We can have peace and joy in that. Because when we're in the Spirit, when we're living with obedience and we're not delaying our obedience, but we're doing the right thing today, then we have this peace and joy. It's when we get out of that. And actually last week I wrote a devotional specifically about joy. So I encourage you to check that out, unpackingit.com. But Jimmy Butler was talking about the return of joy, that he was now playing basketball with joy again. And so, he had all the issues in Miami. But in our lives, oftentimes we lose our joy when we have unconfessed sin in our life. And so we have to return and repent and confess our sin and receive God's grace and forgiveness. And then that joy returns. And so that's another thing we don't want to delay. If we have unconfessed sin, today's the day. We got to do it today. Let's bring that to the Lord. And even yesterday, I had to ask my wife for forgiveness, and so we're having a nice discussion. And so I was wanting to delay But I was like, no, I got to do it now. I got to do it now. I don't want to put this off. And so, all right, hey, I'm sorry for what I said earlier. And so we have to do that. And so anyway, so when we could confess our sin and ask for forgiveness or give forgiveness, those things that we got to do those like today. Game 7 mentality. Now's the time. Win or go home, right? That's the mentality. And so, but too often we are lacking joy, we are lacking peace, but it's available to us. And so if we don't have it, we got to address why that is. And is our peace attached to that thing that we are waiting on? It's like, well, I can't have peace until that happens. Well, there's a certain element to, all right, I'm praying for that. I'm waiting for that clarity. And I get that. But there's also a peace in knowing that, okay, God's got me, God's with me, and I can have peace because I'm living with him, trusting him, and depending on him. And so here's what it says in 2 Thessalonians 3:16. And this is Paul as he wraps up his letter. And it's a exhortation or a blessing where he says, now may the Lord of peace himself grant you his peace at all times and in every way. And the Amplified says, that peace and spiritual well-being that comes to those who walk with him regardless of life's circumstances. The Lord be with you all. And so peace is available to us at all times, in every way. Again, now may the Lord of peace himself grant you his peace at all times and in every way. That peace and spiritual well-being that comes to those who walk with him regardless of life's circumstances. The Lord be with you all. And so let's not delay our peace. Let's not delay our joy. Let's not delay forgiveness. And as we walk in the Spirit today, yielding to the Spirit, making wise decisions, doing what we know is right, then we'll experience, the fruit of the Holy Spirit as we're living in the Spirit. And then the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And so we can have those things today because of Christ, and because we are in Christ, and because the Holy Spirit lives within us and empowers us every day to live according to the Spirit. And so is that the life we're living? Or are we procrastinating, delaying the things that we know we need to do, but also delaying experiencing all that God has for us right now, today? It's available. And so let's yield, let's surrender, and embrace that Game 7 mentality. So I hope that's encouraging to you. And yes, there are some practical, ways this plays out. I know for me, just certain things like, hey, don't procrastinate, just get to it. But to me, those are secondary things. They're still important. They're secondary. But today, I hope we really embrace, what is God stirring in our hearts to do, to experience, and especially the blessings that he has available to us, mainly the fruit of the Holy Spirit. So let's embrace that. All right, so that's this week's topic. We'd love to know your thoughts on what you saw in the Game 7s, and which of the current series right now do you anticipate or expect to go 7 games? Do you really believe the Celtics and Knicks could go 7? Did the Knicks solve something? Or was it really that the Celtics just couldn't hit a 3? Probably that. I probably like the Knicks better than the Celtics, but I'm just kind of rooting for the series. I was like watching the game the other night, and I'm like, well, I like this guy in the Knicks. I like this guy in the Celtics. I'm just enjoying the game. That's all it is. So, but yeah, I love the playoffs. It's a fun time of year. Each round gets a little more intense too, which is great. And now that I enjoyed I enjoyed a fantastic 3 seconds of hockey, I might have to tune in to a little more hockey. So I know we got a few hockey diehards out there. Sorry we don't offer more hockey content, but if I get to experience a little bit more of the final moments of a game like that, then I'm in. The crazy thing is, then that game went to double overtime. But I went to bed at that point. So I did miss the double overtime, but got to see the end of regulation. All right, so for those of you sticking around, wanted to just give you as a loyal listener an update on a couple of things happening here with our ministry, with this podcast. And so this is year number 12 as a ministry. So very grateful that we continue to do this show and continue to offer what we do as a ministry, which includes the podcast, 3 devotionals a week, fantasy football fellowship. And so with all of those, we're always looking for new ways to reach sports fans. And here's my passion. I just want to see sports fans following Jesus. And so every day I'm in the challenge with you as well. What does it look like for me every day to follow Jesus, to still like sports, but keep sports in their proper place, to be the husband, to be the father that God has called me to be? And so as God continues to teach me, I just try to share it with listeners and readers. And so we're always looking for new ways to, deliver the content, deliver messages that the Lord shares with us here at Unpacking It. And so we will continue to do this podcast year round. And so the format that you've kind of listened to the last few months, where we have rotating guest co-hosts, we will continue to do that in the fall, and really excited to ramp that back up. In May and June, the plan is to provide some fun interviews. So slightly different format over the next probably 2 months, where we'll bring some of our favorite guests that we've had over the years back on the podcast to catch up with them, what's going on in their life, and really interview them faith-wise, sports-wise. And so if you have suggestions on guys that you've enjoyed listening to over the years, because that used to be the dominant format of this podcast. And then a couple years ago, God was just leading me to shift into kind of what we've been doing lately, really unpacking a specific topic, from the faith side of things. So I hope that you enjoy that format, and we will continue to do that format. And would love to hear from you too. What guest co-hosts are your favorite? And so we'll continue to give some new voices, fresh voices, but also the returning voices as well. In July, it will be the return of the movie podcast. And so last couple summers, we've done the sports movie podcasts, where we unpack a classic sports movie and then provide the faith spiritual parallel. So if you have any movie suggestions that you'd like for us to unpack, let me know. Bryce at unpackingit.com. Leave your comments wherever you're watching or listening. And so that's sort of the plan for the Unpacking It podcast. Fantasy Football Fellowship is ramping up again. And so we encourage you to let your league know, hey, it's time. It's time to get ready again to meet weekly all throughout the season, as Fantasy Football Fellowship provides the weekly content where we take fantasy concepts related to the Bible, related to life, so that you and your league can meet during a league meeting, grow in your faith, and also build meaningful relationships. And so that will ramp up, first week of the NFL season, where we'll have the weekly breakouts. But then also in the summer, starting in July, we will have the weekly Fantasy Football Fellowship podcast that will be starting up. And so excited about that. And we'll have some breakouts for that during the show as well. But the official sort of breakouts for league meetings will start in September. And so if you have not done Fantasy Football Fellowship previously, as far as with your league participating, encourage you to check that out, fantasyfootballfellowship.com. And especially if your church is interested in participating and starting multiple leagues, at least one league, but multiple leagues. My church, I think we did 5 last year. We're already starting that conversation this year. How will we reevaluate or redistribute commissioners and league leaders and that kind of thing. So now's the time. The NFL draft is over. Now we start thinking about fantasy football. The other exciting announcement is the second edition of the Sports Devotional is coming out in a couple of weeks. And so last year we published our first devotional book called The Sports Devotional, and it was 30 days of all sports included in that. This second one is NFL only. 32 devotionals about 32 NFL teams. And so really excited about that. You can check out thesportsdevotional.com and pre-order your copies. Get one for yourself, get one for somebody else and others. And we appreciate the support there. So that's exciting. So fired up for that. And so we'll be letting you know more about that. I don't even have a copy yet. So we're in the final editing phase. That's what I'll be doing this afternoon. And then also, as a ministry, we honestly, the sports devotional isn't that's not a money maker for us. But it's a wonderful, opportunity to get devotionals in people's hands. And so we're thankful for that and the way that the Lord uses that. The encouragement for you as a listener, we depend on you for financial support. And so, we have multiple ways that God provides for our ministry, but the number one way is through individuals like you. And so we have monthly donors, people that give $10 a month, a lot more than that every month, $500, $100. But it's all important, and it all allows us to continue our mission, to challenge, encourage, and inspire sports fans to follow Jesus and become more like him. And so thank you for those of you that already support our ministry. It means a ton, and you're teaming up with us and you're being obedient to God if he puts it on your heart and you give and you answer the call. It's huge. And so I hope that you continue to experience blessings for that. And then I just invite those of you that haven't taken that step to support Unpacking It. Just invite you to be generous and experience generosity in that way. And so if you're already given to other things, and man, it's awesome. Keep it going. But if you would prayerfully consider also supporting Unpacking It, that would be tremendous. And so as our fiscal year ends in May, we need some support to finish strong so that we can set up our new budget, and which will determine kind of what we can do and who we can have to help get this message out to more sports fans, and offer you more content and more opportunities to grow in your faith, and also to experience relationships. And so part of our heartbeat here at Unpacking It too is that sports fans connect with each other. And so we want to have meaningful relationships with other sports fans. And so we do that through Fantasy Football Fellowship. We also do it through packs. And so on our website, unpackingit.com, we've now made it really easy for you to sign up to be a pack leader, to start a pack. And what is a pack? It's a group of sports fans that get together every week to talk sports, faith, and life. And we provide the content for you for free. And so you can find out more information on unpackingit.com. And so I lead a pack every Wednesday, and we have a blast. And so many of you are listening right now. What's up, guys? But we love the talking sports. What's going on? What's the latest in sports? But then to be able to transition that conversation into faith conversations in the setting where you're building relationships, friendships, trust, accountability, prayer. That's what we want to help you experience being a part of Unpacking It. And so anyway, we got a lot going on. We want to serve you. We want to help you grow in your faith and connect with other sports fans. And so we've got multiple ways for you to do that. And then we need your support so that we can continue to do all that we're doing. And so thank you. And so we're excited. It's a new season of Unpacking It. God continues to renew us and give us new kind of vision and clarity and next steps, and glad to have you a part of the ride. We're just getting started. We're 12 years in. We're just getting started. And so glad to be a part of this with you. Thanks for listening to the podcast today. Thanks for Aaron. We're going to enjoy a few more weeks with him as our producer, and we'll see what the Lord does moving forward as far as this podcast goes with adding a new producer. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. But for Aaron, I'm Bryce. I'm a sports fan who follows Jesus. I believe in the good news that he died on the cross for my sin. He was resurrected, and through faith, I've been saved by his grace. I hope that is true for you as well, and I hope you'll join me as we live life as sports fans who follow Jesus together. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you next time right here on the Unpacking It podcast.